And we are live. Hi, everyone. We are the Word Nerds. We're very happy to be hosting the live write-in again today. We're going to do some sprints, but first we're going to do a bit of a check-in. Please let me know if my microphone's going nuts, because it does that sometimes. So I'm going to start down the line. I just do a quick check-in, how you guys are doing halfway through Nano, and Rachel is first on my left here.
Oh, good. Okay, well, I am not officially doing Nano just because I am writing term papers all of this month. But I finished my last term paper and I'm working on my latest one, and that's going pretty good.
Yay!
Yay, schoolwork!
And then Megan, you're next.
I am at 34,305 words. For like the first time in 6 years of doing Nano, I am ahead at this point, which is like the weirdest feeling ever, but I'm really excited and I'm not going to question it too much.
All right, awesome. I've got Kyra next.
I am ahead by a little bit, and I think that's probably going to change over Thanksgiving break, so enjoy it while I can.
I forgot you guys had Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
that was so long ago for us Canadians.
Oh, yes.
So weird.
I am not doing super. This is one of my worst Nano years ever. It's probably going to be one of my highest word count months ever, but I'm only actually at like 4K for Nano, so just going to keep plugging out. I'll probably only work on my Nano book during these write-ins, but it's something.
Yeah.
And I'm a little bit behind, but not too far. I'm at 26,553, so a little less than 4K behind right now. So.
Awesome.
That's pretty good, yeah. Mine is a bit weird this year. I'm using the goal tracker instead of the word count, so it still looks like I have 0 words, but I do have like 25 hours, and my goal was like 40 hours, so we'll see what happens as it gets closer to the end of November. I think we have a 5-minute warm-up coming up, and we've got a prompt from Kyra, if Kyra wants to share.
This is my first time ever writing the prompt, so.
We have faith in you.
Thanks. The first prompt is write an awkward social encounter. If you're like me, you should have lots of like, personal experience to feed into
solid
that.
real life evidence.
It's too real. It's too real.
Not saying you're awkward, but
but we are.
She is.
Oh yeah.
I don't mean we are saying you're awkward. I mean we are awkward. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I have at least
you made it
6
awkward, Aaron.
social
Stop that.
outlets I can use.
You can write about this chat. All right.
So at the 35, yeah?
Sounds good, yeah. Perfect.
And as always, you don't have to use the prompt, just extra
Yes.
inspiration if you need it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're like me, your whole book is kind of a social awkward or an awkward social encounter. So,
that's why I love beta reading for you.
I'm always using that font. I can't talk today. Sorry, I've been writing term papers today.
That's fair. And we are at the 35. Who someone's timing for us? It's not me.
Time.
Okay, good.
So we will check in at the 40. Again, the prompt is write an awkward social encounter. Good luck. time.
All right. Awesome. That always goes so fast. So let us know in the comments how you did. Remember, it's just the warm-up. It's only 5 minutes, so we don't expect you to get like 1,000 words, although some of you are insanely fast writers. Let us know what kind of awkward situation you put into your manuscript. We're always interested in hearing. And we'll do a little check-in as well. Over here, I have Rachel, but she's muted. Unmute thyself.
Ah, sorry.
There. How did it go?
Oh, it's fine. I'm just writing up some discussion posts for one of my classes, so I got 150 words done.
Not super awkward, but still.
Not super awkward, thank goodness.
Anyone else?
I know in the pre-chat I was talking about all these people who always kick my butt in the warm-ups, but I got 203 this time.
Nice.
I'm really,
5 minutes. Jeez.
I don't even know what's happening. Who am I?
Definitely a wizard.
I knew this day would come.
Anyone else do super awesome? Or not awesome? That's good too.
Got like 250.
Yeah, see, Kyra. Always raising the
Me
bar.
too, 50.
That's it. I think I just like looked at my thing and was like, okay, this is where I was. And then the 5 minutes were up.
That's how I usually am for like warm-ups. But I actually have like a little outline for the scene, so I knew like what was up.
Yes. Yeah. The last time I worked on writing, I sat down because I am now far enough into the book that like I need to know how I'm going to wrap things up, and that has like changed my life. Every time I sit down, it's just like I can do this. Let's go.
Yeah, I find that too. I get like nothing done in a sprint unless I know exactly the next thing that's happening, or I'll just sit there and stare at the screen, which I feel like is a huge part of my process, but is not very helpful in word sprints.
Feel free to ask any writing or nano-related questions in the discussion section, and we answer them in between sprints. If we miss your question, please re-ask it. We're not trying to ignore you. There's just a lot going on in the discussion section. I feel like a flight attendant a little bit because I've done this so many times in November. And if you'll check
Please
the doors to
exit
the
on the
right.
left.
Yeah.
Yeah. See the strips from, I don't even know. I can't even remember when's the last time I
Airplane
flew.
things.
I am enjoying all the awkward in the comments.
Oh,
All the awkward stories. Yeah.
You are my people.
Should we just move right into the next sprint at the 45?
Sounds good. Do we have a prompt for the next sprint?
Yes. Include something your character is afraid of.
Yay!
Awkward situations, maybe.
Yeah. Just if you want to continue on with the same theme from last time.
I mean, it kind of works.
Can you say that one more time? Sorry, you were buzzing.
Sorry. I'm just going to hold my thingy and hopefully it helps. Is that better?
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. No, I was just saying it works if you want to go straight from one prompt into the next because somebody's like completely humiliated because of how awkward the situation was. That's often how that goes. And I do not speak from personal experience at all.
I just saw a question I want to answer. Any tips for incorporating setting description without stalling the pace of the narrative? So my suggestion is if you're going to include setting details, include them in a way that involves the character interacting with the setting. So instead of saying like, there's a clock ticking loudly on the wall, say like, oh, the ticking clock really was annoying me and making me nervous, or, you know, because then the main character is involved.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or
they're
she's
interacting
like
and it's
counting down something and that's why the clock is there. So obvious to her. Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah, for sure. This sprint is going to be 10 minutes, easing our way up.
And it's time.
All right. time.
All right. Ooh, how did everyone do?
Okay.
That's good. I spent most of my time like cutting and pasting things that are in the wrong spots, so that was fun.
I got 309.
Nice.
So, feeling good.
I almost don't want to ask Kyra.
520.
Oh. Speed writer.
You're embarrassing me.
That's what
Don't be
we're
ashamed
here
of being amazing, Kyra. Come on.
for. We had some questions that I marked down before we started the sprint. First of all, people are sharing their word counts in the discussion section, and you guys did so well.
Yeah, you guys are intense.
Yeah. Emily Hastings asked, how do you balance Nano with Thanksgiving?
Not a Canadian question, so I'll leave this
Nope.
one to the American.
I mean, it remains to be seen how well I'll do it, but because in the past Thanksgiving does tend to like trip me up. But I'm going out of town to visit my in-laws, and so like I'm gonna take like an iPad with me because it's like smaller and lighter, so that I can like write in the airport and on the flight, and like hopefully while I'm like at their house I can like at least pull it up like in the morning or at night when we're like not doing anything in those like off times. Because like Thanksgiving does like it's a lot of like spending time with family, but it's also, at least if you're anything like my family, it's a lot of kind of just like sitting around and hanging out or like moaning because you've eaten so much food, you know, like so like I don't feel like it's like constant like events going on unless you're like really intense family, so you can still find some time. Right, you just have to tell your family like, hey, I'm gonna go do this. It's not because I hate you guys, but because I have to get this done.
I feel the same way about Christmas. Like, I don't know, it depends on your family. Like, some families are like, hey, that's rude, but others you can just kind of hang around in the living room and like still be a part of things and like write on your laptop.
Mhm.
So like in my family that's okay, but I know in other families people think that was really rude. So
I think it definitely is. If your family's the kind of family that would find that rude, it's definitely important that you just like let them know what it is you're doing, because a lot of times they'll think that it's just that you're like hanging out on Facebook talking to friends.
That's true.
Them or something. That's what they expect, especially if you're younger. They're like, oh, she's just texting on her phone the whole time with her friends, she's just Snapchatting, and you're like, no, I'm actually like working. You know, so tell them what it is you're doing and how important this is to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. For me, it's all about finding a place where I can just be alone for a minute, which is really hard because, you know, families are loud and they love you or whatever, so they want to spend time with you.
That was cynical. They love you or whatever.
But if I can go into a room just by myself for a little bit, or if I can go out, it doesn't even have to be to a place with Wi-Fi because it's just writing. If anything, the Wi-Fi will be distracting. So if I could just get out of the house if necessary and have a place where it's just me and time to think, that's really great.
My family's not real early risers during break, so usually if I wake up even at like 8 a.m., then I have like some time before anyone else is up, and then they don't feel like I'm ignoring them or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, you can also get, like, Google Docs has an app that you can get on your phone now. So you could, if your family is a smartphone, technologically inclined family, there are going to be moments where you're all sitting in the living room on your phones. And you can write during that time.
I've always really admired people that can write on their phones. Like, I know, like, because I'm a big part of Wattpad, and I know like so many of the people there write on their phones and just upload it on their phones. And I am still,
What?
I guess I can't. Okay, thank you. I was like, maybe it's because I'm 30 and I'm like old and I'm like, I can't do this. The screen is too tiny. But
No, that's definitely
I do a lot of writing on the Google Docs app on my phone.
Yeah,
because I always have my phone
could.
with me, and I can't always have a laptop with me. I'm not home all the time, so
no, I can't do it. My thumbs would hurt. I envy you, though. I feel like that's a way to get so much stuff done because you can literally take your phone anywhere. I mean, you can with your laptop too, but it's just more likely to be on you all the time.
My laptop battery lasts like 30 minutes, so that's not an option.
Right, that's fair.
I'm realizing from the discussion section that people have very strong feelings about writing on the phone. You either love it or you hate it.
I wish I
Sounds like a
could.
civil war on the
It's
internet.
not like I would like scoff at people that do. I'm jealous if you have that ability, but I cannot. I've tried it and it was like 2 sentences and I was like, no. I barely text.
Oh. Should we set the next sprint for 5 after?
Sounds
Yeah.
good. I don't know if we had any more questions.
I do have another question. Yeah. Dark Deluxe will ask, how do you write an unlikable, morally corrupt character well?
Megan.
I do not know to what you are referring.
To like all of your characters.
Never.
Yeah, that if you don't know our channel, that is like every character I write. But I think the big thing is giving them moments of weaknesses. Assuming this is a character who you want people to like in some way. If it's a villain, you can just go for the gold, play on everyone's fears. Think about what you would hate the most and make the morally corrupt character do that. But if it is someone who you want characters to root for a little bit or be sympathetic to, like a love to hate kind of character, giving them moments here and there where you see a little bit of humanity or you see the amount of stress that they're under because of being morally corrupt. For example, in the last book I wrote, I have an evil queen character, and she's real bad. And there's a scene where she like executes someone because evil queen, you know, that's what you do. And then immediately after that, after she's done this really gruesome, horrible thing, I have someone say something that like triggers this really traumatic experience she had in her past, and she goes back to her room and just like destroys it. And so she's still doing an unlikable thing, but you're like, oh wait, what if there's like a reason for this?
Mm-hmm. I know there's also like, I think screenwriters call it like the save the puppy moment, where you have this really repulsive and likable character, but it's a moment of like they're kind to an animal or like they literally save a puppy or something, and you're like, okay, so they're a terrible person and they're crappy, but there's an aspect of their personality that would go out of their way to like save a puppy or save a child, or like there's like I think it's like in the Raven Boy series, it's like the gray man. He's like a hitman, right? But he also has this relationship with one of the women in the books, and they have this like cute back and forth and the banter, and like there are certain things he wouldn't do and like stuff like that, right? So he's not like he's specifically called the gray man because he is kind of
Gray.
like a gray. So he's not like horribly unlikable or like a straight up villain, but he's not a good person. So yeah, just little stuff like that.
Yeah, or Warner in the Shatter Me trilogy. He had like a literal save the puppy moment.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that he's a great character. I would recommend that series if you want to see unlikable characters done well. And also the Young Elite series by Marie Lu.
I would also say Kaz in Six of Crows is a good example.
Yes, Kaz.
Of a character who does terrible things, but you're still like,
gosh.
with him.
See, like that's the thing with
That's
Kaz, where
funny.
I always want to recommend him, but people hate him. Some people
I know. I was gonna say I
him,
actually didn't like him. There was no save the puppy moment for me where I was like, okay, he redeemed himself. Like, I also didn't finish the book though, so.
Oh, okay.
I like him because he's so
I
bad.
will say.
Yeah.
But that
No,
was
I
one of the
like him
reasons,
because
like,
he's so twisted.
Yeah, I do like twisted characters, but I just didn't like. I found him interesting. But I didn't have this like passionate love for him that so many people seem to.
I had someone at a conference once say that a character either needs to be interesting or likable. They don't necessarily need to be both to keep the reader entertained.
Yeah, that's very true.
Do we have a prompt?
Yeah, I like this one. It just says make a character cry.
Oh, maybe you can make
Yes.
your unlikable character cry
Hey.
Yeah.
because of a
I'm gonna
puppy.
do that.
They can be crying as a response to the thing they're afraid of. They can be crying because that social encounter was just so awkward. It's really working,
But then I'm gonna like them.
There you go.
Yeah.
But you want a likable character, like unlikable but likable. There you go.
Yes, exactly. It all ties together.
All
All right.
Yes.
It's time.
And go.
Be a 10-minute sprint again. That way we can do a third sprint at the end. We'll still have time. So 10 minutes. Check-in is at the 15. I am putting all the prompts as well as in the description for the video. So if you can't find it in the discussion, you can refresh.
Awesome.
time.
That seems so short.
Yeah, that one went really quick.
Well, it's also because over on our channel we have 20-minute sprints instead.
Yeah.
So it's like half the time for us here. How did you guys do?
I got 200.
Nice.
253.
Another 150.
289.
Nice. All in the 200s. I wrote words. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. That is all that matters.
I actually don't even know because I'm working in Scrivener and I'm in this part where I have like sections switching really fast between the 2 points of view. So it's kind of hard to calculate like without actually doing math.
Ew, math.
No one wants to math.
Mm-mm.
It's too late for that.
There are 160 in this current section, so more than that.
Nice.
We've got people sharing their word counts in the discussion section. Some of you guys are hitting major milestones. Like I saw 40K got crossed and 60K just got crossed. That is incredible. You guys are amazing.
Yeah, some people are it's not even half, well, I mean, it's halfway through. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Ugh, sorry. My
Yeah, like-
microphone's the worst.
I just passed 27K. These people are like 60K.
Nuh-uh, 27 is still amazing.
Yeah, it is.
You're doing
It's
awesome.
27K more than you had at the beginning of the month.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I have like 100 words more than I had at the beginning of the month. So hey. Ugh.
We had some questions. First one was from Courtney M. Any tips for titling a story that you haven't written much for?
101 Dalmatians over there.
This person is pantsing a story for Wattpad but can't start posting without a title.
Yeah.
Wattpad
That's hard
title.
because I can't do titles that early.
No, mine are always just like really, really simple for Wattpad, and I'll fix it later. Like, yeah. I don't know. I'm not good at titles either.
I'll just do things like creepy book, witch book.
That's literally what my
It's
nano
good to,
title
like,
is.
Think of other book titles you like and try and follow like sort of the format that they have. So is it like noun and noun, or is it like just an adverb or adverb? That'd be weird. Adjective. I don't think I know of any that are adverbs, like just an adverb.
Unearthly.
Unearthly. There you go.
Cynthia Hand.
Or you can go with
It
ever.
can be done.
Yeah, just right away. Yeah, that locked and loaded to give that to us.
Or you can
That
go
might
with it.
actually be more of an ly adjective, though, if you think about it.
I love that we're critiquing this. You could always go with just the word and word of word. The Days of Blood and Starlight, and that's pretty much what I did for my current book. And if if it sells and they want to change it, then they can change it. Super popular.
You can look at what you do know about the book right now. Like, do you know the character's name? Do you know something about the character or the setting? And try and pull from that, like what's something you love about this idea that is why you're writing it, and see if you can weave that into a title somehow.
I mean, I feel inadequate trying to answer this question because the book I'm working on for Nano is called The Prodigies because it's about prodigies. So that's not exactly a really riveting title.
Done.
But why not, right?
Accurate.
Exactly. For now, it works.
It's not wrong. You know what you're getting into. Just kidding. You never know what you're getting into with a book I write.
Yeah,
I pretty
I'm
much
pretty sure.
Go ahead. What were you saying?
Oh, just a quick thing that I'm pretty sure Neil Gaiman, when he started writing American Gods, just called it American Gods to have a title for it, and then the publisher loved it and just
stuck.
kept it.
Yeah, I like that idea. See, I just do what someone else said, like just take a whole bunch of buzzwords basically from like, oh, these are all the things that are really involved with the story. So I'm just gonna jam a bunch of these words together and smush a few together and hopefully it works out.
This is why Erin has long titles.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
you can pre-order Erin's book now, The Strange and Deadly Portraits of Brian E. Gray.
That one was
Long
less
titles.
smushed together.
Yeah.
I did think about that one longer.
Or you can order her first book, which is just called Frost.
Yeah, that's not as long.
No in between. Really long or really short.
Go
The
small
best
or go
titles
big,
always are.
but don't go home.
We had another question from Alicia. What is one feature of a main character that every main character needs?
What is one feature, you said?
Yeah, like one thing that every main character needs.
A goal.
Yeah,
And
motivation.
also, because everyone's
Yeah.
scared of something.
A goal and a fear. That's two things.
Good answer.
Way to overachieve, Emma.
Agency, I guess they need to be doing things
Yeah.
rather than just having things happen to them. So they need to be the kind of person who's going to do things eventually.
things.
Even if they don't start out there, they have to eventually get to that point where they are propelling the plot forward.
So agency, goal, fear.
Yeah, and that'll be the case whether you're writing a likable protagonist, an unlikable one. Doesn't matter. Should we do the next and final sprint of the evening at the 25?
Sounds good. I know we have one more prompt, yes?
Yes.
I think.
Oh no, I
I'm hoping before I commit Kyra to this that you do.
have someone looking for something that is lost.
We had a question of if we are listening to music while writing.
Yes.
What are you listening
Usually, not today.
I usually
Yeah,
do, but
same.
not during like live sprints.
to? Same. What are you listening to, Emma?
I just have a whole playlist of like, let's get my songs from here.
Various
There's
things.
46 songs. Yes, I have no idea. But they're all from like movie soundtracks or video game soundtracks.
Nice.
Or
I
the
like-
Two Steps from Hell. Which I guess
Yeah,
is
Two Steps from Hell. I was going to say Two Steps from
I
Hell.
love that.
Or movie soundtracks are really good. I really like the newest King Arthur movie that came out. Like, debatable about the actual movie, but the soundtrack is amazing for writing really
check it
intense
out.
scenes too. Yeah, it's so good. It's kind of this weird, almost like medieval, but like kind of electronic as well, mushed together.
What?
Soundtracks, like,
Yeah.
My favorite thing.
It's really, really good for epic scenes. So.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
I just like angsty mid-2000s rock.
It depends what the story is.
Mhm.
I think the
Yeah,
last
I have a
one,
different playlist for all
yeah,
of my books.
Yeah.
exactly. For my middle
This
grade, I
one's got
really
a lot
like.
of-
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I interrupted you.
No, I was just saying for middle grade, I really like the Amelie soundtrack. I've never even seen the movie. I just really like the music.
Right now, I'm listening to a lot of like postmodern jukebox.
Yeah.
I
don't know
can
what
write with like music with lyrics, so that doesn't bother me. But
Yeah.
I know it does.
I
bother some people.
can,
Yeah, I
depending on
can.
the book. Like some books I can do it and some I can't. It just depends on like the feel of the book.
If I have listened to the song over and over, like so much that I have memorized it basically, then I can. If it's like a newer song, I'll get super distracted by the lyrics or like singing and dancing.
Sometimes I like having the slight distraction. Like every now and then, if I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm a terrible writer, I suck. But then like Fall Out Boy comes on in the background, I'm like, oh yeah, music is great. Okay, this is gonna be fine.
Does anyone ever pick songs like for each character? I did that for the first time the other day. Yeah? Okay, it's not just me. Everyone has to have a theme song.
Obviously.
Definitely.
So most of the time when I make a playlist, it's very like lyric based and like these are lyrics that apply to the things my characters are experiencing.
That's cool.
Just funny because I don't actually listen to the lyrics that much when I'm writing, but nonetheless.
It's there if you need it.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes it does. Sometimes it's like I'm writing an emotional moment and I rely on emotions from the lyrics. So.
And
All
we
right.
are at the 5.
So this sprint is 10 minutes. This is our last sprint of the night. Check-in will be at the 35, and the prompt is have someone looking for something that is lost. Good luck. time.
All right. How'd everyone do?
I have no idea.
I did not write any of the words, but I did read a lot of words.
Nice.
Way
I feel
to
like
go.
if you don't keep track, you can pretend that you did more. So
Yeah.
Yes,
say
definitely.
I wrote a lot.
This was my best sprint yet. I got 469.
Ooh,
Oof, good job.
nice.
I was right around 500.
You need to let Kyra go first, and then everyone else can say
Yeah.
afterwards.
I'm really excited that I got so
See,
close to a
in the past,
Kyra amount.
in the past, you've always told me I have to go last, so I don't make people feel bad. I don't know what you want from me.
Right. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
There's no
To
way.
write fewer words, I don't know.
We don't want that because then there's fewer Kyra books. So.
That's true. That's true.
Oh,
We want more
oh.
Kyra words.
I don't want to do that either.
We could just call hitting a high word count hitting a Kyra word count now. That's what Megan just said. Nice. Did anyone
I think
use the
for a
promo?
while I like reported. I think I reported word counts in terms of like I had like a bag of M&Ms and I got to eat like one M&M for every like 50 words I wrote, and so I reported in like M&Ms to.
Now we know why you developed that speed.
Yeah.
It's a good system. I'm just saying.
Wrapping yourself like this.
We can do one more question and then probably call it for the night. This question came from That Aussian. How do I write good people making terrible decisions?
You just have to have them have a good reason why they think they should make that decision.
Mm-hmm.
Only to realize it's not a good
Or
decision.
something that sounds like a good reason at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I take it from real life. Like I know I've definitely made terrible decisions, and it always seemed like a really great, like the best way to do something at the time. Like,
Yep.
and then it's usually something that results from that terrible decision that ends up changing my mind.
Yeah. I know for me, this is like the most frustrating thing ever in books when someone does something that I don't think makes sense. And so I feel like you have to have really solid justification for that character. Like I need to be able to look at it and be like, okay, well, I see why you would think that's the right decision.
I feel like you have to be in the character's head to a certain extent, especially with this type of situation. Like it's easy to watch a movie and know the whole picture and be like, oh no, don't go into that room, you're going to get murdered. It's a terrible decision. But if you're like really in the head of the character as a reader, you should think it's the right decision at the time as well. And the consequences of that decision should surprise you basically. And oh, well, that turned out to be a bad decision. I didn't see that coming either, right? All right. I'm going to wrap things up a bit. Thank you, everyone, for coming out and sprinting with us tonight. You are all awesome. You all got amazing word counts. We have a sprint over on our channel tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time on the WordNerds channel. I think Megan can link it in the comments because you're on the Nano thing. And we also have a next sprint on the 25th on this channel. So we would love to see you if you're able to make both chats. We will see your lovely faces then, or your, not your faces. You will see our faces.
There will be faces inside.
There will be faces.
There will be faces involved. Yes.
We'd love to see your username.
Yes.
Thank you. I am going to get the link right now. My computer's just going a little slow, so give me a couple minutes and I will put it in the discussion section for where the write-in is going to be tomorrow, as well as I'll put it in the description so you can come back to this page later if you have to go like right now.
Perfect. And thanks, guys, and we'll see you tomorrow.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.